My family's in there. And I'm gonna get them out. Just getting set up. Looks like it's all going. Woohoo! Spec Owl, Paula the Llama, how's it going? Welcome. We're gonna have some fun tonight. We are gonna be doing one of the. Oh my goodness, it's probably too loud. We're gonna be doing, since this huge craze of like draw this in your style has been going on. I figured it'd be fun to maybe do like a sculpt. A speed sculpt of sculpt this in your style, which basically I do anyways. But it's nice. So what we're gonna do is this artist Patri. Let me get his name. I never know how to pronounce his name. Patri Balanovasky. Did this awesome concept, and he's like, "Hey, I'm drawing draw this in your style swag." So I figured it'd be fun to do, and I mean, the concept was actually really cool. So I'm like, yeah. So this is the concept that will be speed sculpting tonight. So I'll be using a base mesh, which I normally don't do, and I will be doing a lot of kind of cheats throughout this to speed up this because I want to see how far I can get tonight. So if you have any questions, this is the base mesh that I'm using is one that I made for La Muerte or El Muerte or El La Muerte. Make sure I turn off my samples, my spotlight projection. Angry Monday, how's it going? Yes. Has it felt like second Monday to anyone else? It's been the weirdest day because it's basically just... It's second Monday today, and it's really... I've been struggling. John Doe, how's it going? Thanks for stopping by again. Trying to think of like how the best way to organize. I'm streaming on YouTube and the Twitch tonight. So thanks for stopping by. I haven't been streaming for the past couple of weeks because obviously summer. So let's see how far I can get using this base mesh. I'm going to delete the higher. Oh my. And sometimes it's easier to like hide things I know I'm not going to be using and just worry about getting some of this normalized. So some of the the stuff that goes through my mind. Blands, how's it going? It's been so long. Some of the stuff that goes through my mind of like when I am doing doing work from a concept when I'm initially starting is just trying to figure out like what are the key characteristics of this gal. We can go like almost straight into the pose with this. So this is going to look real sloppy and messy for a while, so just hold tight. I said hold tight! As we work things out. So the main things that I'm seeing that like make this character has a very distinct eye shape to it. The nose, and obviously like the long curves that she has. She's got long curves throughout almost her whole design. So we will be doing that, and I'm going to take it as far as I can with this base mesh, and then I might do a Dynamesh. I may not. Who knows? So if you have any questions as I go along the way, feel free to ask. We're all just hanging on, Imagination Studio. We're all just hanging on. I normally don't start off with like a pre-existing base mesh. I would say on like probably 90% of the things that I do or have ever done. At least in my personal work. And that's mainly because I like the organicness of it. Yes, work along with me today, Specs. Please. But as I like to do these speed sculpts every now and then because I'm not a speed sculptor. Oops. Turn on localized symmetry. So, and there's a couple reasons why I don't normally work with base meshes. One, I know people that work like exclusively with base meshes, and their stuff starts looking all the same. You can tell that it's all more or less from one base mesh. So that's one reason I don't like working from. And two, I like the knowledge that's gained through it. I think every time you do, you try to change up your workflow. You try to change up your style a little bit. I think it's really beneficial to do. How awesome. Facial hair is great. It keeps me warm in these cold summer months in the desert of Utah. You might see me get a little heavy-handed with some of this stuff. It's all in good purpose. This is just a little bit more interesting as we're gonna just be jumping around a lot, because this is, even for a base mesh, this is still pretty high. Higher than I like to start with, actually. And it's like, it's not necessarily worth trying to make it lower poly. It's fine. It's fine. It is what it is. Give these lips life. Some life love. Let's actually kill the body right now, just so we can focus on the main. Joe asks, in a studio environment, is using base meshes for hands and feet bad? In a studio environment, no. It's probably actually beneficial, as it speeds up. It can speed up your projects, and normally in a studio environment, you're wanting a lot of, like, you want consistency, I should say. You want everything to have the same style, more or less. So you look at companies like Disney and DreamWorks and Pixar. A lot of them use just one base mesh to start with everything. So no, in a studio environment, it's good to learn how to use a base mesh, for sure. But for learning and developing, like if you're new to sculpting and you're new to character design, especially, to build everything from scratch for a while I would recommend is probably one of the most beneficial things, because you start learning with repetition anatomy. You start learning shape language, and you start learning proportions, and you start learning all these things that are really quite beneficial. And you only can do that by practice and by just doing it. And I think that's one of the reasons why I still do it quite a bit, is simply just because I want to keep the tools fresh, my tools, which is my brain. It's always nice to see an artist like yourself start from the beginning, more or less. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, normally I start with just simple primitives, and, slowly build up from there. There's a lot of And you also have so much versatility by doing it that way. You're not bound to like ear shapes or nose positions, like, and you're not, in ZBrush you're actually hardly ever bound to anything, which is awesome. But it is harder to mush this nose into this nose than to build it just straight from primitives, which is what I like to do normally, and then just get the position right, and then Dynamesh, and then Z-Remesh and project. But it's also not the fastest technique. And because the name of tonight is going to be speed, we are gonna not worry about that and just get what we can tonight. And I also highly recommend warming up with just sketching and getting like your brain first, your art brain going. I didn't do that tonight as I wanted to get as far as I could with this gal. I'm also looking at relationships, like what's the relationship between the nose and the eyes, like the bottom of the nose to the bottom of the eyes, and then this relationship. And I noticed that with this gal, she's a little longer and a little shorter. And then I'm trying to also figuring out like the head shape, and this is when I like to kind of bring things in Photoshop and kind of bang things together. Blands asks, you ever wonder what the universe was like before the Big Bang? Like, there had to be something there, like, to make the Big Bang in the first place. There must have been something to make the Big Bang, because the Big Bang just doesn't happen, right? So who was it, Blands? What conspiracy video teaches us about that? Okay, I just updated my Photoshop, so there's like a 90% chance that nothing will work. Hey! It works. Look at that. My undo doesn't work, but my goodness. I swear, every time I update Photoshop, there's always some sort of thing that goes wrong. Okay, so this is the concept. Let's actually pop this off to the side. And so I want to figure out more or less the shape from the front. And seeing these angles that he has in here, I'm guessing that her face from the front is probably something like this. She's probably more masculine. Not maybe masculine may be the wrong. But she doesn't have like that princess look to her, or like princesses are like kind of this turn up. And then her eyes. Looks like they kind of have a cool angle to them, and this is the freedom of draw this in your own style. So there may be opportunities to like expand this, to find things I like You know, and she's got her eyebrows are really low. If she comes down, probably have this type of triangle for the nose. And then the lips. So this is kind of the shape language that you're finding there is this kind of trapezoid. We're seeing a lot of repetitiveness in that, even in the anatomy. So I'll keep that in mind, that this is the shape language that's being and she's got the headband, the teardrop. You got the ears, they're coming off to the sides. So this is like me trying to dissect. You know, she's probably actually got a thinner face, but I still like the idea of that trapezoidal things. Probably thinner, but we'll more or less keep some of these notes. And we've got then the braid that stays low, trapezoid, and then comes out. And then she's got, I think she's probably thinner. So let's start working on that. Probably thinner. Just thinking of like what the bodice will be like. You know, she looks to be bigger and kind of like an exosuit. Ooh, oh, sock is falling off. And then she's got these really defined shoulders that are also have got this shape repeating in them. Oh, whoa, I've built this way out. Anyway, not looking at proportions or relationships, right? Anyways, that's going to be probably like this. And then finding the pattern of making some of this stuff. And we'll get into that. But let's get, we could probably add some of this stuff to like maybe her arms too. Anyways, just by like dissecting this a little bit. Sometimes I like to go in even with liquify and just play around with some things, maybe just making some subtle tweaks. Anyways, that's probably a decent idea. And then I can take this and remember that and start applying some of those things. So like working on getting, you know, from the profile, I'm guessing she's more... So it's almost like one big front shape that we'll play off of. Okay. Oh, cancel. No.
Master Sergeant John DeSom on the center steps. John DeSom. Staff Sergeant Reagan Rupp in opposition.
And this is just for placement. Just so we can start getting some of that occlusion. Sometimes I really like to just go through with this J cut brush, with this Jack cut brush, and kind of defining some of these areas really harshly, and then going in and smoothing everything back. Just inflating that neck just a bit more as it's getting a little thin from the front. I think from the side it's looking okay. But she definitely has more of like a square jaw. And like this is coming from one extreme because that La Muerte that I made, she had really like extreme features. So this is more normalized along the proportions. Do I ever use the Damn Standard 2.0 brush? Yes, I do. I love the Damn Standard 2.0 brush. I mainly use that brush for hitting in wrinkles. It's really, really well for... That's probably the main reason I use it, actually, is just for getting in those wrinkles. But yeah, it's solid. That's one of the most solid brushes out there. And like sometimes I actually like I'll fluctuate from using the Dam Standard and the Orbs Cracked and the Jack Cut brush. Start bringing this into perspective. Change this to 30. As we are going to be doing all sorts of fun stuff. But you'll see like 90% of my sculpting brushes are actually just the move brush and smooth. Like, I don't use a whole ton of brushes. And the only brushes that I make are some like insert brushes of things I know that I make a lot of. And that one aren't necessarily hard to make. Just ones that I repeat a lot. I'll also just use the good old-fashioned pinch brush. I'm going back and I'm kind of redefining some of these planes because they've gotten a little lost from my stylized character to me mushing things around, so I'll go back and just make sure that some of these planes are defined still. And then go back and soften them out with my smooth. I love seeing this sketch phase. It's nice to know that my workflow. Yeah, as I especially if I'm modeling someone else's concept, I feel like I have to draw it and sketch it a little bit, even if it's not exact, which it isn't. But it gives me, I try to put myself in the mindset of the artist who did the concept and try to figure out why he made decision A and decision B and decision C. Yeah, I was going to host another critique night because it's been summer and I've only really streamed once since my last critique night. I just wanted a night to sculpt again, just for funsies. So I'll do another critique night next month in August. And I really do love doing the critique nights. They're a lot of fun. So, yes, I will be doing more. Looks like she's got these strong, like, cheekbone areas. She's getting all puckered. We need to soften that out. I'm just going to delete these eyes and add in new eyes. I do have a new tool that I'm working on currently that I'll be releasing to the public probably at the beginning of next month, end of this month. So that's going to be fun. I'm excited about that. I'm actually really stoked. Been putting in some time to make some really cool workflow enhancements. That's not, I mean, it's a little bit of a tutorial, but it's really a tool that will just, I think, speed up and improve people's workflow and also like get an understanding of things. So. So for funsies, too big. kind of got these small pupils. Well, she's got like these oval pupils, but we'll see if I want to do that or not. Let's just, let's just go for it. Why not? We'll just do. I'm not going to worry about the eyes right now. I've decided we are going to do a fill, and then we're going to just paint. So I'm just not getting, maybe it's because I'm having her look up. And she's like terrified. How about just, I'm not going to worry about the eyes right now. Yeah, new tool for understanding and speeding up workflow and things like that. Am I still working? I've got a couple questions that I missed. Let me see. I see you have a new setup compared to your Pixo streams. Yeah, it's a slightly new setup. Not too much different. It's mainly I just made an updated UI for ZBrush 2018. Just to make sure that, like, as I'm putting out new tutorials and things, I want to make sure that my UI is updated for everyone that does those. And there seems to be a little bit more stability when they make a new release and you start fresh and just make a custom UI from there. Here, maybe it's just that shader. Let's see. Okay, we'll just go stick with that for now. We'll do a save. Patri. Very glossy shader at the eyeball. No, so a lot of these shaders that I've made are from ZBro. Let me send you a link, actually. He's got probably the best materials. For sure. Like, I highly recommend. I'll just send a link to his stuff. He's got a lot of good resources, even a solid couple of base meshes for you. Hey, Santiago, how's it going? On the YouTubes. Okay. So those are where I downloaded, a lot of those matte caps. The majority of what I use is like dirty, and then a variety of like his. And his Zebro eye reflection is real solid. It just has like a cool refracting and like it just looks like an eye should. So I really like using that one as I keep crushing this Z7, which is the majority of what I use. I'm also on the hunt to find some better copy or royalty-free music that I can either purchase or have donated to me. I don't know, just to mix up some of my audios. See, now that everything's kind of getting into place, I can start going back and refining different areas.
Sergeant First Class, Mark Wood.
Yeah, his matte caps or materials. Yeah, did he discontinue sharing those? There's a really good one that I got from Frank Zine. That's it's a really good like detail. Where is it? Watch, it's like gone now. I saved it and now it's gone. Let's see here. No, where is it? It's like this awesome. Like once you're getting into like high level sculpting. Oh, maybe I lost it. It was really good. Well, damn. I had a good one until I lost it. Soft plastic, I swear I have it at work. Anyways. I don't switch my mat caps very often either. Yeah, it kind of does look like an anime version of Elsa, but like with mech and stuff. And I actually have been favoring, like, as far as like punching detail, just the standard pinch brush lately. I found a lot more control with it, and it's a little bit more predictable than some of the, like, the jack-up brush. These eyes still are feeling maybe a little bit too big. Start doing some measurement comparison. I mean, this is a little hard because, like, the perspective and ratio. So, looking at, take that opacity down just a bit. The eye shape is actually, and I can't worry too much about the back eye. It's mainly the relationship between the mouth and the nose and stuff. So if we get the eye there, mouth is probably feeling in the right spot. The nose could go down just a tad. And those ears. Do some heavy-handed moving. Actually, we're going to do this too. We're going to save. Make that a front. We're going to do some heavy-handed moving. some real heavy-handed moving. So has your workflow changed a bit since the release of 2018? Or since your advanced Bike Girl? I feel like my workflow is always changing. Like I'm always trying new ways of modeling and speeding up. As far as like the new features in 2018, it really hasn't affected my workflow at all. I think some of the new the features are cool. Like the polygroup stuff is really awesome, and but like the Sculptress Pro, I never use. Like I don't use Dynamesh hardly ever. So Sculptress Pro though it's cool, I never use it. And then the thing with the cones, like it looks really powerful if you could figure it out. But again, it's something that like I don't like committing too much to anything especially when I'm just blocking out shapes. I like to do kind of a slow build up of things and kind of have a lot of control over versatility. That nose is looking like poop right now, so let's fix that nose. Oh yeah, it's because I moved it. So I'm grateful that they're coming out with new stuff. I would like to see a little bit more refinements done in the next pass, like 2019. Instead of new features, which I think we have a plethora of great features in ZBrush. I'd rather see refinement done on some of the other stuff, like Z-spheres, like Z-sphere rigging to be exact, to be more specific. Some of the other features that have kind of gone away, like I'd like to see a full new pass on poly painting, and to try to bring in some of this stuff that like that you're seeing in other programs where the painting feels a little bit more like Photoshop, or a little bit more editable, because right now poly painting, like you make a stroke and that's it, and then you have layers, which is another thing that I think they could refine without and maybe have some controls of like editing hue or editing saturation or adding in multiply levels. I mean, multiply levels in ZBrush would be such a big game changer, I think. I mean, I know you have the opacity sliders, but it's not like layering on top. It's just kind of an opaque thing being less opaque. And yes, I think a whole nother pass at subtools and subtool folders would be so awesome. Oh man, I'd be so happy. And I got a question. Hey Matt, are you still at Epic? Yes, I am still at Epic. I'm working out of their Salt Lake office and loving it. We're working on a great project and also enjoying all that is Fortnite as well. I've got some questions on the YouTube side from Macro Draw. How easy is it to learn ZBrush's tools for a beginner without guides or tutorials? Without guides, I think it's the hardest thing. I mean, ZBrush is a different beast. If you're not used to, it just has a different layout system. The UI and the way it treats everything is a lot harder. But there are a lot of great free tutorials. I mean, Pixelogic Central or ZBrush. Pixelogic.com has a great learning section for, that will teach you pretty much every single feature from the get-go from zero. Michael Palovich also has a great series as well, dedicated to new users, and a lot of that's free. And then he's got, you can expand that with Gumroad. So yeah, it's hard, but it's not impossible. But I recommend watching a lot of content, a lot of tutorials. Most of them are free, actually. Daniel Norton asks, when are you going to do your interview with Shane Olson? You're in his workshop. I don't know. Shane asked me if I would do it, and I said, yeah, that sounds awesome. I love Shane. So basically, whenever he says, hey, Matt, come over and let me ask you some embarrassing questions, and I'll say, yeah, that'll be great. So yes. Yeah, Shane's the man. I love him. Working with him is a blast. I just went to lunch with him a few days ago, or last week. Too bad I don't know English. Haha, damn, it's hard to understand. Yes, especially when you're, understanding, like, I know Spanish, but, like, trying to translate my ZBrush language to Spanish is quite difficult. Another question from Paps on YouTube. Been waiting on layer since ZBrush 3. Yeah, you and me both, Paps. John Doe, I think BPR render like Substance would be awesome. Would be nice. Yes, it would be. I'm not even that picky. Like, I know what ZBrush is for, and I think initially it was to do all your texturing inside and out. I'm okay if it's just my modeling. I'm not okay with that, actually. I want it to have some of the stuff the Substance Painter does, but I would honestly just be okay if it had, like, paint layers where you could just control some of that stuff just a little bit more. Just like hue and saturation and vibrancy, I don't know, just would be very nice. Contrast. To have that option would be really great. A question on from Night Shadow says, I'm really hyped for Cyberpunk 20. I read that initially. You're really hyped for ZBrush 2077. I'm like, oh yeah, I bet ZBrush 2077 is going to be awesome. But yeah, Cyberpunk 2077 looks awesome. And I'm sure they have a great ZBrush in that as well. Yeah, that looks great. There's a lot of cool games. I'm actually really stoked or excited to play the new Spider-Man game. I'm a big fan of Insomniac's games that they've made. They're always like really fun. They're always really fun to play. They're one thing that like they know how to do, and that's entertaining gameplay. So I'm really stoked because I've wanted a good Spider-Man game. And especially that one that doesn't necessarily follow any of the movies is very enticing to me. Am I going to the ZBrush Summit? This is a great question, Blands. Right now, I am not. I am contemplating going. There's a couple of things that make me hesitant in going. One is that my wife is due with our fourth child, like 2 weeks before the ZBrush Summit. So I'll be a new pappy, or a new baby daddy of my fourth baby. So leaving her for a full weekend while I go and hang out and nerd out for a weekend might be difficult, and I think I'd feel really bad. Two, the other thing is like if I do go, I'd like to be able to be doing something. I mean, I love the ZBrush Summit. I think I watch it. If I'm not there, I watch it online every year. But I would, I'd rather maybe just watch it here unless I have something to do. Like if I'm teaching a workshop, would be really cool, which I've done in the past, and or just do like a demo somewhere would be fun. But if I'm not doing any of those, like I can't justify leaving my wife and our newborn to go to the summit. I mean, I could justify it, but should be the right question. Have her go with you. Yeah, I'm just not sure. Like my other kids would be good too with that. We just bring the whole Redbeard gang. And it's been cool. Like we've been sculpting for an hour now, and I haven't gone up in subdivisions once. Just like to point that out. Of like, right now I have so much geometry that I can just focus on shape. Probably take another pass of the eyes in just a little bit here. Gonna make the eyelashes. These eyelashes are kind of fun as they're stylized in a cool way. This is the down and dirty way to do eyelashes. Oh my music. If there was any reason not to go, that's a good point. I love the summit. Having some of the best people in my, in the industry, and especially so many that like I relate to. Man, it's an awesome experience, and like everyone's so cool there. Especially you get to go and you get to hang out with Paul. If you get a chance to like hang out with Paul, who's just insane. Like, I love Paul to death because he is himself and he is insane, and that's what he is. But he's awesome. He's one of my favorite people because of that. The whole Pixelogic group actually is like, they're studs. They're all studs. So anytime that I get to go and hang out with them, if I'm not at the ZBrush Summit, I'll be at CTN, which is another one that I highly recommend people go to and check out. It's more art based, like 2D art. There's not a huge 3D presence there, which is surprising because most people are trying to get a job in as a 3D animator or something. So it's a little surprising that there's not a larger 3D audience. I normally do like a demo or something, or a workshop at CTN, which is always a lot of fun because it's, I take time, develop, a character, an original character, and bring an original sculpt, and then, have a good Q&A session and cry on, in front of people, which is always nice. Because I start talking about the passion of creating art, and then I just lose it. Do you not use dynamic subdivs? I do. I do dynamic subdivs. Sometimes, when I'm just in blocking out, I don't, because I'm just more worried about the overall shape of things. Grease. Partial. So look, dynamic subdivs. But I very rarely use them when blocking out stuff. I mean, I guess I do use them when I'm doing more anatomy. That'll be decent for now. Extend some of this stuff. Perfect. Okay, we'll do that bottom lid. CTN was the first time I met you. After all, you gave a demo of the Pixel Art. Oh man, that was years ago. You were at that? That was like the first time that I had done any demos for anyone ever, and I was terribly, terribly nervous because it was terrifying. And I think I was demoing like right before, right after like Dylan Ekron, and he is like one of my heroes. So yeah, it was like right. Well, that's why they contacted me, is they saw my tutorial, and they're like, "Hey, do you want to come out and do a demo and for CTN?" And I'm like, "At the CTN?" And they're like, "Yeah, we like your stuff, and we think you'd be good at demoing." And so they were nice enough to have me out for that, and I've done a couple demos for them, a few demos for them since, and demos for myself and for a variety of things. So that's cool that you were there. That's years ago. Probably 3 years ago, at least 3-4 years ago, 5 years ago. Not that long. But a good season ago for sure. You don't remember Dylan being there. I don't know who he was a couple years ago. There was a demo by another Disney modeler. Oh yeah, it was Elena Tuttle, or Elena Wooten, Elena Tuttle, and then you had Letitia. I'm blanking on her last name, who's an excellent modeler as well. But they were all like, we were a bunch of stylized artists. Like we were all kind of hitting the Disney style. But it was so much fun. I think I spent so much money. I spent so much money at that thing because it was like the first time I'd been around these artists that I've been following forever. And like my wife would get really mad at me because like I'd be like, okay, I'm not spending any more money. And then I'm like, I've got to go to the bathroom, and she's like, okay. And then I'd come back with a new art book or a new print. And she's like, you were gone for 3 minutes. I'm like, yeah, but this artist that I've been following, he's in from France, and he's just doing a limited book signing. And so that was funny. Yeah, maybe Dylan wasn't right before me. Maybe it was Elena that was right before me. But Dylan, yeah, he was doing his demo that time too. Man, that was fun. I can't believe you were there. That was great. That gets me like good memories flowing because of just like how happy I was of just like hanging out and just seeing all these great artists and feeling like very little, like very young and like these people had been around the block and were friggin' awesome, and they were really cool. And that's how Dylan and I became friends. At least I called myself his friend, and I'm like, I consider myself his friend, and I can, and this is me speaking, he is the nicest guy in the world, but I consider myself the guy who, I'm not even going to say it, like, when you're in high school and you're friends with the cool guy, but they don't actually like you at all. That's what I consider myself with Dylan. It's not true. Dylan is awesome and he's super funny, and that's why I do it, because I think it makes it more awkward for me. But that's it's not that way at all. I don't even know why I said it, but maybe it is. Like, I don't know. I'm just gonna stop talking. I kind of still consider myself very new to ZBrush and character modeling for some reason, and I think that's a good thing, because it keeps me wanting to develop and get better and things like that. Because I think as soon as you start like, oh man, I'm the shiz, then you start to plateau and not progress. And I think, we as people in general suffer from doing that to ourselves out of laziness. So might as well not think that you're the man. Okay, I'm going to take another shot at these eyes, as we're getting to the point where we got to start subdividing up. When it's time to submit a portfolio, what comes first? Technical, topology, or compelling image? That's a good question. So when doing a portfolio, and actually I had it recommended that I do like a portfolio review night. I don't know if people would be interested in a portfolio review night, because portfolios are pretty personal stuff. But what I've learned and have seen that's true in the industry is that you don't want to have your portfolio filled with a ton of stuff. You don't want to have a ton of stuff in your portfolio. You want to have 3 to 5 kick-ass pieces. And so to answer your question, you want the technical stuff, topology, and compelling. If you have a kick-ass piece, it'll most likely also showcase some of that technical stuff. Like in my portfolio, I don't know if I have a single image that has wireframes and topology and my maps, like the maps that I use. I mean, I guess it did for when I was getting into the industry, but that's not what people cared about. They asked if I knew that stuff, like, hey, so did you do this in Maya? Do you have maps? Do you have UVs? Do you have good topology? I'm like, oh, yeah. And, and could show them if I needed to. But the first thing was always like, you need something that competes. Like, go to ArtStation. If you go to ArtStation right now and like check out the latest picks, like the ArtStation picks. Yeah, I'll pull it up and see what you're talking about. So the picks right here, and if you change this to 3D, this is what you're competing with. Student or professional, this is what you're competing with. So you need to have things more or less to this level. I mean, it doesn't need to be like this, though. If you do have this, that's awesome. Like you'll get a job. But just a really solid piece like this, like you can tell that there's a lot of great craftsmanship in this. That they're using a variety of tools. They're showing a marmoset render. This is, a little bit of overkill for what they need. I don't think you need to show your lighting scene in marmoset. This stuff is good. But really, if it was just this image with a few turnarounds like this, like I'm interested in this. But if you go into it, and I'm sorry I'm using this person's as an example, this isn't fair. But if there's like a piece that looks like crap in here, even though this looks great, I'm going to be drawn to the thing that looks like crap. I'm not going to comment on any of this portfolio because obviously they didn't ask for that. So just have three solid pieces where possibly you do show maps and UVs and your topology. But I mean, that's all that I had in my portfolio. I had 3 pieces. I had 2 characters and 1 prop. And that's what got me my internship at Disney Interactive. So if you do have like pieces that you're questioning if it should be in it, toss it out. Send me a message. Send someone a message. Get other people's eyes on your portfolios before you start sending it out. Simply to get feedback. Get feedback from people that you can get honest and truthful feedback from. That they won't sugarcoat it, and that they can give you good direction. Okay, let's go back to these eyes. Because if you can find someone that you trust that will give you good feedback and that will tell you, say, hey, this is almost there. If you just do these little things and then you change it and they're like, okay, now send it out. But if you send it out and you have these things that aren't quite solid, like you want all the cards in your favor before you start sending out your portfolio and resume. Let's see. Thanks, Matt. It's great to hear. Man, did a few weeks back when you gave me an awesome draw. Oh yeah, sweet. Oh yeah, no problem. I'm glad that helped. I have no one like that to turn to. I just want to get better. I mean, Dead End, honestly, like just send me a message on either through Facebook or through email. And even if you have to remind me a couple of times, because sometimes like I get busy and if some stuff falls through the cracks, I got to be honest. So don't be afraid to kind of harass me a little bit when it comes to that kind of stuff. someone's having a party. I mean, this is down and dirty I 101. So don't do what Donnie Don't does. Oh gosh, I can't do that. You know, I had one guy. Unfortunately, like I've done, you know, it's sometimes I love doing portfolio reviews. Sometimes it's like if you're not doing them to the right person, they're not ready to like really be reviewed. Like someone sent me a quarter, like they modeled a quarter, and the normals were backwards on it. So if you're going to do a portfolio review, just be prepared to like take the critique, and be able to grow from it. Right? I mean, the greatest thing that you could learn to do in this industry is how to take feedback. Because no matter who you're working for, you're gonna need to get critiqued, and honestly, they're not gonna love everything you do. I mean, my art director still disagrees with me for some reason. But no, it's a good thing because like things get better with critiques every single time. And I think that's one thing that I've loved. I've worked with a great variety of people that have given me honest critiques, and like that I come up to them and I say, "Hey, can I get your eyes on this and get your feedback?" I think there's a lot of artists, even in the industry, that still are hesitant to show their stuff to people. But honestly, I've learned that getting good critiques is the best thing in the world. Art stuff. All done. The mustache is right there, still hanging out. Do I have any suggestions for a good schedule while freelancing? That's Old man butt. I don't know. I know that failure is a part of growing. Yes, failure is a part of growing for sure. I'm trying to see. I don't know what the old man butt relates to, but I'm sure it's good. Do I have any suggestions for good schedule while freelancing? So, I do very minimal freelance. My goodness, someone's like lighting off fireworks in my backyard, I swear.
Master Sergeant John DeSom on the center section. John DeSom. Staff Sergeant Reagan Rupp in opposition.
The what I would say for freelance is get a schedule period. Get a time that you know that this is your working time, and so you cut off social media, you cut off Instagram, Facebook, you say this, and just by having treat it like a job. Say I'm going to put in 8 hours today, and these are the hours I'm going to put, and whether you're waking up for it or not, to hit those hours, like that's up to you. Another thing is, I think, get yourself ready for the day. Don't wake up, go sit down at your computer in your pajamas and work all day and not change. It's amazing how much getting yourself ready to do something changes how productive you are. So really freelance is can be a different beast for sure. And I think it's every project. Like the only freelance that I do is my tutorials that I teach, and projects that excite me. Which is very, I don't do a whole lot of, because there's a few that just don't match up with what I want to do with my free time. So I've been lucky enough to, but to being able to work on really cool projects, like work for Disney for a few years. Now at Epic, we're working on a really cool project called Spy Jinx, and had a lot of fun working on kind of remaking those characters and having some influence on how those characters are shaped and developed. Has been a lot of fun. So we're still working on that game right now. It will come out sometime, and it's gonna be a great game. Gonna be a great game. I assume Artsoft was talking about your previous model, the old guy with the stash. Oh, yes. I popped in one day and you were talking about pulling up reference of old man butt and searched that. Yes, the old man butt. That was I think that was for the teacher, the guy that I was making. And I searched old man butt, and without safe search on, that brings up some shocking some shocking results. That's hilarious. should have started from a different base mesh. This one's a little bit dirty around the ears. Oh well, that's okay. We can fix that when we subdivision up higher. Ooh. I shower, put on a collared shirt every day, and I work from home. It helps me greatly. Yeah, Specs, you know what I'm talking about. I was sure you were working on a feature, animation, or something like that. Glad to hear that you are in the video games. Yeah, video games, like, getting into the industry, to be honest, like, I didn't see myself staying in the industry, the game industry, as long as I have. Because I have such a passion for storytelling. And it's been cool to realize, like, the type, you can tell the video games are catching up to feature-length films in quality, so quickly with how fast computers are. But it's been fun. It's been frustrating. I probably see myself one day still getting in, to feature film. Who knows when? One day, though. When the time's right, I'll definitely make that leap. I don't know. There we go. Lasso. Jeez. But so far, I'm really enjoying. Right now, I'm really enjoying making video games and making the characters for this game that we're doing right now. And Epic is like the bomb.com to work for. They're so... I've never been to a company that they care so much about their employees. And that includes Disney. Like, Disney was awesome, and I loved the project we were working on. But it did also feel like very much like a corporate entity, and they were looking out for themselves and the management much more than the employees that did the hard work. Redbeard Productions confirmed. Yes. Awesome. Godeska, how's it going? I'm missing all these things. Hired Gun Games. Wow, I love the look of this character. Oh, thanks. Thank you so much. I mean, Have you seen Kingdom Hearts 3? Some of the tangle. Yes, I mean they are literally just straight models from the movie on Kingdom Hearts 3. Like, and I say that knowing full well because we had those models at Disney Interactive when we were working on Disney Infinity to use as like call outs for what to how to stylize these characters and not make them look like straight from the character. They're straight from the movies. I'm working on hair tonight. You inspired me. Yes, hair is the worst. I'm glad I inspired you to work on that. Yeah, the proportions in the shape language, I think the eyes are still a little too big. They're feeling just quite big still. So we'll do this. Blur that. That's feeling a lot better. Gonna work on getting the eye shape. Well, I don't want to like go too much into the expression at this point, as there's still so much that needs to be done. Whoops. Hair time. So in doing a hair like this, what I mainly am focusing on is just getting the silhouette of the, shape number 1. And what does that look like? We gotta work on, that subtle shape language of that trapezoid that we've already established. And punch that. Maybe even like really punch it with just some H polish. As we're just getting the shape, and by defining this stuff and then refining it later, that's the way to go. And this is all just stand-in stuff anyways. Brush, stroke, curve modifier, size. We're gonna flip. Move this up. Ooh. Snaps on. So this is an insert brush. Let's turn on elastic. Elastics. Actually, this is probably one of my favorite features of new ZBrush is elastic. And like the ability to go in and I'm going to add a bunch of stuff and then I'm going to make it smaller. I mean, that's probably my favorite thing. And probably my most used, especially like the curve, like you can rotate. Let's see. Yeah, if you hold over it, you can rotate it around. Let's get that depth right, though. So just the ability to translate it is just so much better. For it to like dynamically pull out where you need it. So great. And then you can control the curve of it so it twists right. I still wish you could twist the end a little bit better. Oh, maybe they updated it. Hey, that's with the new update. You can twist the end now. Oh, man. See? They know what they're doing. Anyways, this is just for show. I just wanted to make sure this is going to work. And I don't know who created this brush. I didn't create it. It was just in the IMM repository at ZBrush Central. So now that things are coming together, you can make some changes. And so let's see how closely like this is getting to that rough sketch that I did. Not too far off. I mean, definitely the proportions are different and the eyes are a little bit different, but it's not overall it's not too far. You learn any Unreal tricks you can share? You know, Bland, there's not like we are doing a completely. I can't say too much, actually. Let's just say the stuff that I'm doing is not universal to Unreal. So there's not really many tricks that I can say other than Unreal is extremely powerful and definitely like the most powerful game engine out there. And I'm not saying that just because I work for them, and if I don't say it, then they dock my pay. But the stuff that they have created and like is amazing. Meat, yes, thank you. You keep rocking too. Oh wow, anime senpai. Staying busy. Yes, you are, Blands. Hey, Artsoft, thanks for coming by tonight. Thanks for keeping me on tracks. So I'm just going to make some more broad level changes. eyes still might be a little too big for me. I don't know. Oh, you know what? This cheekbone is actually now trying to figure out like why I'm not getting that silhouette. It's actually feeling like this cheekbone is just a little low. Like it looks like she's got kind of these really high landing cheekbones. Oops. Which kind of give her like a stronger personality, which is what I was trying to do, but I think I got lost in some of the other silhouettes. So if we bring that cheekbone up just higher, also kind of gives more of an adventurous vibe. Like it takes away from the cuteness, which is what I think she was suffering from. But bringing that cheekbone up, I think is going to help a ton. And it also brings out that hexagon-like face. Facial expressions is some of like the funnest exercises. It can be like extremely frustrating because like you can make things look so derpy, but it also is like so much fun.
Sergeant First Class, Mark Wood.
The Freddy Krueger face. I would love to see the way of sculpting facial expressions at some point in time. So I'm planning on. I'm doing a few things right now. Right now, I'm working on a Gumroad tutorial series that will be replacing my old intro to ZBrush. So that will be coming out next. And then I have this new ZBrush tool that I've been making that will hopefully be of good help to people to not only speed up their workflows but also be a good learning guide as well. And then I've got I'm going to start doing a little bit more of free content that will be available on YouTube. Just little tips. Of things, and I think maybe expressions could be in that as well. You know, expressions you can learn. You can learn like the main points of it really quick. It takes a long time to really master, to get the subtleties of the face, but knowing some of the core basics, I think, is very helpful. Wow. He's got this really prominent nose plane, which I think will only look cool like in perspective with it. Hey, bees on man, yes. Getting back into this whole streaming business. We'll see if I keep this nose plane the way it is. It's so prevalent, like in this, it's hard not to like want to keep it, but also the appeal is starting to get lost when it's that dramatic. So I'll play around with it some more, and maybe we'll just change it, because why not? Did I enjoy... Okay, let's see. I'm missing some of these. Looking for those... messy hair is the absolute worst sculpt. Oh my gosh. Wait, I need to say hi from Max K. Van from Russia. Thanks for stopping by. How are you enjoying the World Cup? I'm enjoying the World Cup. I hate sculpting messy hair. I can't say anything right now about that. But sculpting messy hair is the bane of my existence, I swear. And then how did I enjoy The Incredibles 2? I won't say too much about it because if there's people here that haven't seen it, I don't want to spoil anything for them. But I really loved it. I didn't think it was as good as the original. Many sequels aren't, but I thought it was pretty dang good. It hit a lot, for being a sequel, it was original. It wasn't saying the same thing over and over. It had new jokes. The timing, the beats were different. The comedy was hilarious. I thought the writers writing the comedy in that, it was so real. It was so genuine. Loved that. Some of the things were a little predictable. But overall, I really, really, really enjoyed it. I've already seen it twice because I liked it so much. And I just wanted to see it again to watch everything. I actually want to go see it again in theaters because how long will it be before we get another one of those, Brad Bird? So I really liked it. It was very clever. Love the character design. Some of those heroes. Yeah. Yes, 14 years later. I know. I'll still, 14 more years, I'll still be seeing it opening day. Yeah, the designs were great. The way that the design choices that they did to update the existing characters, I thought was really good. They handled that really nicely to make them look like they did 14 years ago, but way better. Especially with Helen, I think the way they handled her was just beautiful. I really there's not much that I didn't like, other than some of the villaining being a little predictable, and I wanted more of the Underminer. But I thought it was a great movie. Kids were laughing hysterically. I was laughing hysterically. I thought the short before was really great too. It was really well done, really well thought out. It was a daring style that they chose to go with for the short, which some people were turned off by, I guess. But I thought it was a really, really clever way to tell that story. It was really cool to be in the theaters full of people watching that short, actually, and not to give anything away. But when the mom does something in that short, to hear people in the audience yell, "What the hell?" that was so priceless. It's so funny. So for maybe just that reason alone, I really liked it. Like, it was just so surprising that people would just yell that. It was in a theater full of kids. It was really great. Mm. Um, Elastic Girl. Elastic Girl. She was great. No problem there. No, I thought Helen's design was so good. Like her motorcycle was just genius. Finding Dory was so clunky, updated. I was glad they weren't afraid of updates in this. Yeah, I thought Finding Dory was a pretty safe. Like, I liked Finding Dory, but I found it to be pretty safe for a sequel. They kind of just played on the same. They kind of suffered from sequel syndrome, where they take an insignificant thing from the first one that originally had no meaning, and then they tried to make it have meaning in the sequel. And I think they did that with Finding Dory, and really just played off of trying to reuse the same jokes that were awesome in Finding Nemo. I mean, Finding Nemo is probably one of the most perfect animated films there is. But it's kind of, I feel like they were just playing off of trying to redo that one. The short characters design reminded me of Pikmin. Oh yeah, for the Bow short. Yes, it was so good though. It was just so good. It was a great character design. Probably the only character design that I didn't like in The Incredibles was the sister, the inventor. I loved the brother. I thought he was great and super, like, he was great. I don't know how my symmetry is way off on that. His design was awesome and really appealing and different. And then hers, I felt like just kind of fell flat. I know a lot of people compare her to like the chick in Megamind, and I thought that too. Actually, I thought, man, haven't I seen this girl before? I'm like, oh yeah, Megamind. And I know, like, after looking at it, they're way, way different. But it's hard when she does remind you so much of her. Because, like, Megamind, I hated Megamind. and I hated the character designs. Because I felt like they were sticking with that, like, the the style from Shrek with their humans. Like, I love the design of Shrek and the animals and all that stuff, but the humans I thought were just so unappealing. Like, they tried to be too realistic. They were way stuck in the uncanny valley. And I felt like they kind of reverted to that. Let's throw a couple of tangles in there. The brother made me think of the guy from Big Hero 6. Oh, like the Calloway? Yeah, kind of. And not as much though. I felt like they were. I could see that relation. But I don't think I. Come on. I don't think that bothered me as much as the girl did. But these are just like nitpicky things. All my hotkeys have stopped working. Blast. Maybe I won't do a bunch of things because if my hotkeys aren't working, this will go really slow. Alistair Cray, the younger one. Okay, Callahan was the older one with the daughter. Oh, okay. Yeah, I could see that a little bit more, actually. But I guess because his character was so kind of not in focus, not one of the mains, that he was easy to forget. Like, I can think of him, but I can't really picture him. But, like, the main gal on a Mastermind, her design was so bad. Ugh, I've got to restart. My hotkeys are all gone. Anyways, I only wanted to do that. Okay, so let's save this and we'll restart it. Hey from Mexico, Rick Pastor. Bienvenido, Rick. I can speak more Spanish than that. I swear, it's just late and I'm tired. I was up all... Yesterday was great. I had a really good 4th of July. We went to a breakfast in the morning at like 8:30 and we were out all day. We went spent 3 hours in a pool with the kids. We lit off a bunch of fireworks. We watched The Sandlot. It was a good day. It was a good day. Bring that reference back up. But we were out until like 11 o'clock, I think. So... makes today very tiresome. I'm grateful for coffee. Redbeard, if you had to name Alex Ross painting of style, what would you compare it to? If you had to name Alex Ross style of painting, Alex Ross. Name sounds familiar. Alex Ross art. Oh yeah, I know Alex Ross. Okay. What would I compare this to? It's in a way it's almost like Norman Rockwell does comics. Does that make sense? Like, this feels very much like Norman Rockwell to me. So it's almost like contemporary surrealism. Yeah. To me, that's very similar to Norman Rockwell. Does it have an industry name? Probably just surrealism, or is it Let's see. Like American surrealism, American contemporaries. I'm not really sure what style that would be. I don't know if it has an industry name, other than really cool. Rossism. It's probably just that. Just gonna look something up. So I swear I had this awesome. Always have reference, by the way. I feel like I had this awesome mat cap I wanted to talk about, and it's gone. It's gone. Oh well. It was a cool thing. Jax, how's it going? Feel bad, Matt Cap. Yep, that's probably what it is. Invisomat. That's exactly what it is. You guys just know just the thing to pick me up. Somehow I horked the ear pretty good. It's okay. Okay, well, so now that we have now this body, obviously isn't what I want. Okay, so let's do a split by groups. Okay, so we'll take this piece at a time. Actually, let's get this neck the right size too. That was amazing. Yeah, right? Maybe I should just keep it like that. It was awesome. So it might be beneficial to just almost poser. So this is the rib cage is what we're calling this. And then I like to bring out like the rib cage / collarbone. And we're going to just have her rounded forward instead of, the natural T pose. I like to not have them so rounded forward, but this is not meant to be anything more than just an exploration of fun. And we'll just go down my subtools. Now, let's see if we can move these independently of each other. Nope. Are they actually connected? Are they fused together? Blast. Okay. It might be just beneficial to do these separately anyways. So let's see. Now, she's got larger buzzies. So they'll hang... They're going to hang slightly different than smaller ones. But still that teardrop shape. I was going to try something. I'm not going to try something. I decided against it. I can get the detail I want with just this. Fun fact about me is that I do not actually like sculpting women with big boobs. As I think it's 90% of the time unnecessary, unless it's like part of the style, like part of the overall design for the character, which very few times it is. Because I'm very like, and I'm not against boobs. Let's get that out there. As I think there's gotta be design sense to all of the character, and sometimes like beautifully designed characters will lose what makes them awesome by throwing on like double D's, because you instantly lose the identity of the character. You almost lose. I think that's kind of it, is you kind of lose the identity of the character, because it's hard to focus on anything else. So I like to be tasteful when sculpting the female body and having the curves reflect the character, I guess. It's probably the best way to put it. But I'm also like I don't want to bash people that do like doing that, because there are some very talented artists that are very good at it. So, and with this character, let's not with the arms completely down, but more down, more forward, to make this slightly easier to pose. Yeah, actually, I think sculpting huge birdonkaroos. Birdonkaroos. Oh my gosh. I've got no comment to that. I know, I think actually sculpting, and when you're studying anatomy, and sculpting smaller boobs is actually much more difficult thing to do than to like go straight at like these giant water bags. And then there's always that argument, like, oh, if you want a character that's not pretty, like, then why are you even playing a game? Like, people don't want to see... You know, you've got that argument of people that say stupid things like that. Of one, that like we don't. It's not the fact of like having a hot girl or an ugly girl. That's not the conversation. It's having a good character design versus a useless character design. Like you see the male characters fully designed, has backstory to him. The girl's wearing a chainmail thong. Like, how does that make sense? Yeah, they had a lot of the figure, very much so. Okay, Dead End said, I made a snake lady character and gave her small breasts since, snake, but got her breasts too small for comments, even after explaining my reasoning. Tiago Sculpt, I agree. Nope, boobs do not make women pretty. I think it's all in attitude, design language, and character. And very little does boobs have anything to do with relate. But I get that a lot. Some on my sculpts that like people say, "Oh, her boobs are." Actually, don't ever get that because people, I think, were in a better age. But I have gotten like suggestions of like, you should make her boobs bigger, and like, why? Why would you say that? But it's normally from people who don't understand good art. And like this character, honestly, those boobs are bigger than anything that I would do. But I don't think these are too big in a way that they take away from the overall design. For one, I think he's designed this in a way that your focus isn't here, but it's here. And her boobs are just part of her. She's kind of thicker all around, like she's got these swooping curves. So I think it fits. And I actually like a big butt, a big booty, or a nicer booty. Actually, to me, is more of like a statement of who the character is, because like you say so much with a well sculpted hiney. That says a lot more about the character, I think, than the boobs. Like, I know that people are all focusing on, like, boob size, but, like, a nice tuchus will actually say a lot about a character if it's, if she's athletic, if she's sexy, if she's, a variety of things. You can still go overkill. Don't get me wrong. But I honestly think that's maybe one of the more important aspects. Aspects? Yes! Elastic girl, yes. Yeah, she works really good in 2D with the negative space and the curvature of her hair. But even like the overall, if like you take away the hair, these long, big, swooping curves still fall in line with everything that you see with the rest of the character. Like, so I think it's all well done. You want the breast, like when they're bigger boobs like this, you want the breast to kind of curve around the rib cage and not just like flat out. They're water bags. Oh, thanks, Tiago. Yeah, this has been a fun one tonight. Oh my gosh, I'm pressing all sorts of buttons I don't want to. It's kind of a funny, like, first T-pose. It's like she's got this strong, like, elbow joint. And I'm not going to worry too much about getting this exact pose right now because, well, she's twisted a bit. So, I've got a question. I can't seem to find your email. Is it listed on your ArtStation? It is not listed on my ArtStation. I'll just write it here. It's just my name at gmail.com. John Doe also agrees that big chest doesn't make pretty. That's right, John Doe. Personality, character design, subtlety, I think are the keys for good, great character design. Oh my, it's 11 o'clock. Guys, I think I know I wanted to finish this, but this may be as far as I'm going to get tonight. I've got to go to bed. I've got work tomorrow, and I've been not getting enough sleep. So we'll call that... We'll just call that where it is tonight. But, as I can't stop. That's the thing, is like once you start something, you really can't stop doing it. Anyways, at least we've got a decent block out. We've got the head. Anyways, am I going to add new content like retopo? I am planning on doing a retopo, like a full cinematic character tutorial where you like high sculpt to retopologize to baking maps. Yes, that is definitely in the works. It's not probably going to happen for a little while. But it is in the works and on the list. So, so this is, we'll call this where it is right now. Because I'm like, I can't stop looking at it. I'm like, I need to change that. And I need to change that. And I need to change that. And I need to change that. Anyways, but I've got to stop so I can go to sleep tonight. But thanks everyone for coming out. If you have questions, join me next week or send me an email, or hit me up on Facebook or shoot me a message on the variety of social medias, which is Instagram, ArtStation, Facebook. The Relentless Art Mind Syndrome, for real. Everyone take care. Thanks for coming out. We'll keep going next week, and you guys have a good week, I guess, and a good weekend, right? I don't know where there we go. Yes. Anyways, have a good one, guys, and good night.